Hello, good morning, personal fitness freaks. Just kidding, you're not freaks. But today I want to begin to go over muscle. Yesterday you saw heart, and we got a little bit about heart health. We will be talking a little more about heart health in this one and in tomorrow's class. All 3 days combined are about muscles, and most generally why muscle matters in personal fitness. I think it's a little obvious, of course, when we think about fit, we do think about muscle tone and such, but there are some other benefits to why muscle matters. We've all sat for a while or been on a long car trip and you get out, you have to stretch and you have to flex and work those muscles. And what you may know very well that you're doing or may not know is that you're increasing circulation during those moments because all your blood had been sitting and pooling in your lower part of your body away from your head. Of course, your head had been getting some blood, but not, highly oxygenated as we sat there for so long. And all of a sudden you're waking up, you're moving again, and flexing your muscles and stretching gets the blood circulating and oxygen in the brain, and you wake up and you're more alert. And we get back in the car, or we get back in the seat, and we sit there and work again. So there's those implications of muscle fitness, improving circulation and oxygen flow to the brain. So we'll get to all those here in just a few moments. You'll have a little discussion time. All right, but I want to remind you right now, real quick, of the activity log. So don't forget, if you haven't turned in, oh, hi, Wendy Sanders. I guess I'm using yours for a quick example. So if you haven't turned it in, she did real fine just right here. Monday, skipped breakfast. She had a snack. Tuesday, you can see 2 small meals, play with kids, an hour here, easy, moderate. That's good. I jive with all that. I would ask maybe if this were anybody's as well, that don't forget that second word right up here. There's quantity, that's a small, snack or skip or medium, large, and quality. So based on your judgment, was it a small, medium, or large? Was it good or fair? Okay. All right. Thank you, Wendy. I hope you didn't mind that. So going on with why muscle matters. So don't forget to share that. I should probably be able to access it anytime in the emails once you share it with me only one time, but I've made it so that you can make multiple copies, or that you can even continue, just if you want to highlight, if you know how to do this. You may not know how to highlight, copy, and paste. So let me go ahead and use, since yours is already up, Wendy. So if you go up here to File, oh, you can't see that. Shoot. I don't have the screen on it. But if you go up here to File and click Make a Copy, or even just within your document, click on this right here. You should be able to highlight all of this and just put Copy, and then on the next page put Paste, and you can just replace, of course, update it as you go, and delete the old and put in the new one. And on one document, physical activity log, this one is her third one, but you could, if you wanted, have it continuing to go all the way down. Okay, thought I'd throw that out there in case some of you haven't turned it in yet. Let's get on to why muscle matters. So this week, yesterday you did your 15 to 20 minute, 30 minute stretch again, or you ought to have. You should be doing these activities at least 4 times a week. Now, I'll go ahead and say if you can't do it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that you do have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's fine just as well. But at minimum, have your 4 times of stretching, 15 to 30 minutes a week. We're going to begin to add to that. We will trim down the stretching to about 10 minutes while we add to it aerobic exercises. Okay, so it's time to start looking for aerobic videos for beginners. All right. And one thing we learned at the end of last week was there are ways to stretch. We want to be careful to do a little bit of dynamic stretching and a little bit of static stretching. Stay loose. So today, why it is important to build muscles. Strength and endurance. Those are the keys. We saw them once before. Today you'll want to know the definition. Now in class face-to-face, and I'll be honest, you might see some more of this tomorrow. I have you learn these muscle groups. I think it's pretty powerful and really cool to tell your kids, grandkids, significant other, whoever it is, you know, and they need a massage, they have a sore muscle, you know, this is a part of anatomy you can actually touch. And, you know, you want to touch right places, you can say, right here in my pectoralis, oh, my upper pecs, that'd be your chest, right? Or my trapezius, that's where you get a massage when you're all stressed out, and the muscles on your neck. That's your Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got those big muscles that hold up his tank top. Those would be your traps, for short, trapezius. So I'm just going to go through here and say these. I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side. Pectoralis major, commonly called pecs. These are your chest muscles. Pectoralis major. Biceps, we're familiar with that. That's just flexing the arm, that little ball you see on top. Biceps. Abdominals are all these, the six-pack. Sartorius, it's a muscle that attaches to the outside of the hip, quickly comes down near your groin, and attaches the inside of the knee. Basketball players, soccer players, roundhouse kick to the outside. That's what that muscle does. It pulls the leg out. Okay. Adductors, these pull the leg in, all right? Out in. There's two kinds of muscles there. And so when you spread your legs and when you're pulling them back in, that's the muscle that pulls them back in. Ladies like to work these. I remember, quick personal story, my mother walking in and she was laying on the floor and one leg up in the air and one leg alongside of her. I was like, what are you doing, Mom? Get out of here. Whoosh. Oh, sorry. And I was out. But she was stretching her adductors. In the middle, trapezius, as we already said. Now this is primarily, if you follow this line, you see that it's primarily the back strap right here. And we can see it from the front. Deltoids are your shoulders, those big shoulder muscles, deltoids. Latissimus dorsi, or lats. These are your wings. These kind of make your arms puff out. Serratus anterior. You'll see these again, to use basketball. These muscles flex because they keep your hands above your head, like when you're blocking or guarding somebody. So in some of the aerobics, when you're stretching your hands, reaching up and pulling down, reaching up and pulling down, you're actually working that serratus anterior muscle. External obliques, when you're twisting side to side or doing windmills, external oblique. That's why that's pronounced. This is a tough one to pronounce. Brachioradialis. Brachio means arm, radialis is that bone that it's right on top of. So the bone between your thumb wrist. So if you follow your thumb down to your wrist, now from your wrist to your elbow, that whole long bone, it's called your radius. This muscle is called the brachioradialis. Okay, big forearms. Finger extensors, extend your fingers outward. Finger flexors, pull them in to make a fist. So you got extensors on the back side, and you got flexors on the inside. We'll use those here in a little while. Quadriceps. All right, you can see the quads are on the front of the leg. I mean, it's four. There really are many muscles right there, but collectively we'll just call them the quads. And likewise, the hamstrings have a biceps femoris and infraspinatus. I don't know, some really tough ones. But don't worry, all we're interested in are hammies, right? Your hamstrings. This is a common sports injury. But quadriceps in the front, hamstrings in the back. Here's another hard one. Gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius. Those are your calves. Simply said, your calf muscles. Now you know why we call them calves. Much easier than gastrocnemius. Tibialis anterior is the front. So I don't know if you're seated right now, but if you just kind of let your leg relax and you put your hand on the front of your lower leg, you feel your bone. Kind of hard. Now just with your foot going from a dropped formation, just lift it up and point it towards the sky. Point your toes toward the sky and you'll feel that muscle kind of come in front. That word anterior means to be on top of or in front of the tibia. So that's your tibia bone. So the muscle that covers it is called the tibialis anterior. Then we know the glutes, everyone's favorite muscle to work. Gluteus maximus, gluteus medius. The maximus, of course, are the large ones. Medius is very small on top. Triceps. This gives the upper arm more mass than the bicep does, but it's not quite as shapely as the bicep. So to show off, you curl that arm for the bicep, but in our relaxed positions, it's that tricep that gives it more mass if you're going for mass. Push-ups. Do not worry about the teres major, and do not worry about the infraspinatus. All right. So that's a run through of all the major muscle groups that most people in a gym might be working on and that you use. There are tons of muscles. That's the superficial layer there. There's another layer that's deeper, and then a third layer that's deepest. And so different techniques to work in each of those muscle groups. If you don't use your muscles on a regular basis, you want to train those major ones first. So with over 600 muscles in the human body, you can be glad I'm only asking you for those 15. Okay, so this is where I would like you kind of to pause almost and think about these questions. This question. Why might building muscles be an important part of fitness? Can you testify to any of these? Pause it just to read them. So, muscles only help you move if they're attached to something, right? If you're trying to go somewhere and you're walking on an escalator, because that escalator is not moving, because that escalator is moving, you're not going to go anywhere. You're walking against it and you're staying in place. So the floor has to not be moving so that when you move your legs, you actually are going somewhere. It requires friction. So muscles pull on bones, and therefore when you're working your muscles, depending on which exercises, you're also strengthening your bones. Bones must develop in proportion to your muscles or they break easy. You've seen this maybe in YouTube videos or classic movies like Sylvester Stallone's Over the Top, right? Arm wrestlers, and a muscle overcomes the bone, pop! That's when bones break. You see this in strongman competitions when they're deadlifting or lifting up and a bone breaks or the knees buckle, the joints or the minor muscles. So making sure you do some bone strengthening exercises helps. Not only decrease risk for injury, but reduce anxiety and depression symptoms. Just getting outside in the fresh air, walking around your yard if you have a yard, or up and down the stairs, or sitting out on the stairs looking over if you're in apartments, in a communal safe space. Just walking, circulating that oxygen, that blood, can really do a lot for your mental health. Improves the health of your heart and lungs. That kind of goes without saying, right? If you're working out your heart, as we said yesterday, it's getting stronger, more efficient. So are your lungs, so it's easier to breathe. Of course, if you have certain conditions, you got to be careful how you do that. If you're, say, asthmatic or have a heart condition. It does promote insulin sensitivity. So this is one. We tend to consume food and not exercise. And what happens is anywhere between the ages as early as 35 and for sure by 55, we can begin to develop kind of a pre-diabetes. And we just have so much sugar running through us. Your body only keeps 4 grams. That's a teaspoon of sugar in the blood at all times. So if there's more than a teaspoon of blood circulating in your a teaspoon of sugar circulating in your blood, then your body's going to be trying to take it up and store it into the cells. But eventually the cells are going to be like, whoa, we've maxed out here. We can't take any more. And then you're going to have sweet pea, right? Sweet pea, glycosuria, urea. And so you're going to have sugar in your urine, and you're just going to develop diabetes, and your cells don't want to take up insulin. But as you exercise, you put demand on your cells, you put demand on your muscles, and they're going to become more sensitive to insulin, and they're going to take up that sugar as they ought to. Helps with weight management and protects against obesity. Once again, the more energy out you have, the more calories you burn. That goes without saying. Growing stronger, moving more efficiently. I think we underestimate this, even though it's common sense, especially as we age. Just stepping off the side of a sidewalk can twist our ankle, right? Just stubbing our toe on a ridge when we're going to Walmart can cause us to trip and we don't have that muscle formation and reflex to catch ourselves, we go down to our knee. Ouch, that hurts, and we might even fall all the way down. Being a little more fit would allow those minor muscles around our joints, like our ankles and knees, to become strengthened, wrists and elbows. Okay, so we're not talking about major, large muscle fitness. We're just talking about regular exercise, strengthening, and balance will help you to move more efficiently. We all might have a sedentary job or be at home, especially say on this quarantine. And then you have a friend call, hey, can you help me move? I'm moving up to the next apartment. Or, hey, can you volunteer for a garage sale, or you're doing your own garage sale. And the next day you're just kaput and you're sore because your body wasn't used to that exertion of just moving things around. So staying regularly or routinely stretched and a little physically fit will allow you to handle those days of moving or picking up kids and playing so that you don't feel so bogged down. Go through those, and I want you to think about your own examples of how being more fit could help each of these areas. That's pretty much it for this little lecture. I'll say some more tomorrow, but do note the difference between muscle strengthening versus bone strengthening. The definitions are right here. Here are some examples of muscle and bone strengthening exercises that do both. They put attention on the muscle and the bone, so the bone density builds up. You do need that bone density. And the difference between muscular strength and muscular endurance. What would you rather have? Would you rather be able to lift heavy weights for short periods, or would you rather lift light weights for long periods? Look at those definitions. You need a little of both, of course, but depending on your personal goals, some people work on endurance, more aerobics. Others are interested in strength for body shape and whatnot. So as you go through these slides, these are circuits, combinations you can do. You don't need a gym for this. If you have canned food, bottled water, textbooks, anything heavy, these are just some ideas of things you can do when you're at home. You have water bottle and body weight circuit. You might have to Google some of what these are if you're not sure what a shoulder press is, or a wall sit. Circuit 2, circuit 3, circuit 4. Just some ideas. Depends on what your goals are. If you do something like this, which is the chair tricep dip, make sure that chair, that ridge is very secure. I don't want you rolling back, hurting yourself. Always be your own judge. Please don't do anything to hurt yourself. It's just about being fit, not about anything else. Putting out the effort. All right. So the exit ticket will be up. You want to know why muscles are important? What are some exercises you can do to improve muscular strength and muscular endurance just as well? All right. Have a good day too. Look forward to seeing some of your videos on Flipgrid from yesterday. And perhaps today we'll talk about some ideas you have for your circuits. Starting probably tomorrow, we'll want to do aerobic exercises and a little bit of muscle strengthening. Good day.